Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Run Danny Boy. My name is Danny Boy, and as promised, I did say that we would be doing a video with me actually running with a dog. If you remember a couple videos ago, I talked about running with a dog and some of the considerations that you need to have and keep in mind when you're running with said dog. I'll leave a link in the description for that video if you haven't seen it yet. But anyway, so what we're gonna do is we're just gonna go and do some running in the park and talk about a couple of commands and a couple of things that we talked in the video but actually apply it today. So let me introduce our co-host for today. If you've noticed the thumbnail for the running with your dog video, you will notice that there is a pit bull in the picture, and also in some of my articles on the Run Danny Boy website we have Pepper. Pepper is a black and white pit bull. She is full of energy and she's a lot to handle, but once you calm her down, she has an amazing level of focus. Pepper! Pepper, say hi to the camera. Okay, so as you can see, her level of energy is really, really high, and this was done on purpose. Reason being was I did not walk her. I just put the harness on her, threw her in the car. I want to show you guys the difference in the level of focus when it comes to taking a dog out, walking them versus just taking them straight out, okay? And of course, with that lack of focus, she's not gonna be able to listen to commands really well, okay? And it's really important that you walk the dog before you run, because this can occur, and you'll see the chaos that's gonna occur as soon as we get out of there. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna run around a little bit, let her burn off some of the steam, and then we're gonna go over some of the commands that I was talking about in the video regarding how to control the dog during your run. So without further ado, let's hit the park. Alright, so as you can see, Pepper pooped, and when it comes to dogs running, because they're moving around a lot more, they're also moving their digestive system, essentially. They're moving that process along. So throughout a run, it's very common to have your dog poop 3 times or even more. So make sure you have extra bags handy when you're running with your dog. Also remember that the consistency tends to get worse with each and every poop, so be ready for that. But extra bags is super duper important. So as you can see, her energy level is through the roof, and down goes Frazier. Oh God! So with the high energy level, you need to make sure you walk or run them first, because otherwise, like I said, she's not gonna listen to anything I say right now. So find a safe spot. Because of the level of focus is down, pick a safe area that that they won't have any issues, and just kind of walk them about or run them about a little bit. So that's exactly what we're gonna do next. We're gonna skip the walking. I know she really wants to run, and it's the fastest way for me to burn some energy off with her. So we're gonna do that for a little bit. Once we kind of get her at a better energy level, then I'm gonna talk about some of the commands and some of the things you can do with your dog to make those runs enjoyable and, most importantly, safe. We got our energy level to a better place, so let's start talking about some of the commands. So the most important command, as I said in the video, with regards to running with your dog, is the stop command. There are so many hazards, so many dangers when it comes to running with your dog, namely traffic, other dogs, things like that. You need to have your dog grasp the concept of stop really well. I would start out with walking. When you're walking your dog, try to incorporate stop. And just kind of pull back on the leash a little bit, let them feel, or the harness, let them feel that you're coming to a stop. We're going to do just plain stop, and then we're going to do and I'll talk about and in just a moment. So we're going to talk a little bit about and. Because the dog is going at a faster speed than normally walking, the dog has less time to react to your stop command. So when it comes to running faster, or just running in general, what I like to do is I incorporate the word and. By saying and, it is a signal to the dog that a command is going to happen. Sometimes it's go, sometimes it's stop, sometimes it's walking. But by having that and command, the dog will kind of be ready for the next command and will usually stop a bit faster. She'll usually start slowing down before I even get to stop. So we're going to do the same thing. This time we're going to use and stop. And see if she starts slowing down beforehand. But either way, it's best to always incorporate that so your dog has the most amount of time to follow said command. So let's hit it. And stop. Notice that she was already slowing down when I was saying and. Once again, gives her more time to react, so there's less likely of any type of incident, injury, anything like that occurring. All right, so come over here. The next command we're going to talk about is what I call back. Okay, all it is it lets the dog know that we're going to be about facing. We're going to go the other way. Anytime you finish your walk and you want to head back. That's what I say to her, so she knows to turn it around and head back. So we're going to go and do a couple of lengths. I'm going to use the back command. And yeah, just anytime you finish your walk and you want to incorporate it, say back, start tugging in the way you want the dog to go the other way. And over time, they'll start hearing the command and they'll start turning around before you even have to manipulate the leash at all. Okay, so we did stop, we did and, we did back. The next one we're going to talk about is walking. The word walking itself. Sometimes you're running with your dog and, I don't know, there's construction on the sidewalk or something like that, and you need to just slow down because there's extra hazards out, or you don't want to run crossing the street, you want to walk crossing the street. So a walking command is great because, you're still moving along. At the same time, you are keeping everything safe. And yes, although you want to run the entire run, maybe you want to, crush your PRs and all that other stuff, safety comes first. So you will have to walk some of the time if you want to go and run with your pooch friend. She doesn't want to be in the video. She's trying to snake her way out of this. She's done with the running. She's still going. What are you doing? All right. Let's do some walking. Clearly she doesn't want to run. Walking. Let's get her running first, and then we'll change it to a walk. I'm going to use the go command with her. I'll say and go, and then she knows to start running. If I don't say and go, then she won't usually start running until that command is made. So we're here. She's chilling. We'll go this way, and see, she's already looking. She knows. And go. Walking. Stop. Good girl. So, there's walking. Another thing I do with the dog, this one, you can do whatever you want, but if I have her at a stoplight, sometimes she doesn't know when to go. She knows to stop, but she is still itching to go. So I say to her, we're checking, and I just kind of keep reminding her that we are still in the process of stopping. It hasn't, just because I haven't said anything in a while, it doesn't mean that she can now run. So I'm kind of giving her that prompt to keep reminding her, hey, we are still stopping. Don't think that because I haven't said anything, you can just, gun it. So in that case, any word, any type of filler, just to kind of keep reinforcing to the dog, we're still standing still. Okay, so we just did walking. You saw go. So what we're gonna do is left and right. Now, she hasn't really exactly mastered left and right, and it's not really necessary if you know how to manipulate the leash. And in times that I need to really control the leash, I'll use both hands, have one with grip, and I'll have one to kind of pull around and manipulate a little bit. But anyways, left and right, it's not really necessary. If you want to kind of show off and like, yeah, my dog can go left and right, then yeah, you can totally do that. But I don't think it's as necessary. We'll do that one, and then I'm going to show you gun it. Gun it's going to be a rough one for us. But okay, come on, Pepper. What I do is I say left, left, and right. I try to make the words as different as possible to make it easier for the dog to distinguish. That's why I kind of do the growling right, and I say left twice, because those are two things that I don't normally do. So by her knowing that those are two very unique things, she knows exactly what to do. I think it increases her chances, but that's just my own theory. So I do left, left, and right, and that's how we do our turns. Okay, so Pepper, and go. So there you go. It's hit and miss. She hasn't actually run with me in about half a year, maybe even more. So, you know, if it seems a little wonky, it's because she is definitely out of practice with it. But even then, she still remembers a lot of the commands. So let's talk about Gun It. Gun It helped me get 4th place in the men's category. We did a 5K a year ago, and I was so tired. So dead. I had no energy left. This one was still raring to go, which I hated and I loved. And I decided to take advantage of it. I was currently in 5th. There was one guy in front of me and the finish line. And I have a word. Every time I sprint with her, I say gun it. So when she hears gun it, she knows to go much faster. So even though I was dead tired, I knew I could use her to pull me around. So I yelled out gun it, and she dragged me in front of the guy, stole his 4th place. Sucks to be him. But gun it is just something you can do if you want to just increase the speed, you want to change it, go really fast. And yeah, so it's fun. And I guess in races with dogs, it could be useful if you have a big guy. If you have a Chihuahua, I'm sorry, you're not gonna pull ahead. All right, so let's do gun. I'm gonna go and get some distance. We're gonna do some regular running. I'll hit gun it, and then you'll see if she remembers. I don't know. We haven't done this in a year, so we'll see if the Poochie remembers. Yep. Got it. And got it. Now, I think one of the issues that you folks are seeing today, the reason why she keeps stopping and looking back at me, is that when we would run, we would just run on the sidewalk. So it's very, very linear. You know, she can see the difference of color between concrete and pavement. She knew where to go. So when we'd run in the streets, she would never look back. In this situation, it could be that she's really excited, she does remember, but me thinks that because everything is green and grassy, she doesn't know exactly which way I want to go. So she's stopping and checking, but because of that, I'm almost running her over. So this might just work better on roads and sidewalk. It's just dawning on me now. I've never done it on grass before. But if you do it right, if you sprint and you yell out gun it, your dog will make the association. And if you ever need to get the heck out of Dodge, you can say that phrase and you're off to the races. Next, we're going to talk about a round. So we're going to get back to the car. We're going to warm up a bit. and we'll talk about around. So we're warming up here because it's cold outside. I can't sing anymore because then I have to pay for the royalties, so that's all you're gonna get. But anyways, it's cold out, so we're just warming up in the carro. So I want to talk about the next thing while we're warming up and getting ready for the next thing. Around is one of those things, it's not really as necessary. Of course, stop is super important. Around, not really, but it's situational. With around, what will happen is, let's say I'm running with Pepper and there is construction or a road hazard, or we need to go around. Because there is construction, I need to get on the road a little bit to go around the sidewalk to get back onto the sidewalk and then continue a continue a rock. Continue a run. What I would normally do is I'll have her walk, and then while I'm walking her, I'll say the word around, and by doing that, I'm letting her know that I'm pulling her leash away from the sidewalk, but we are not crossing the road. This is just a small little detour, and I use the leash a lot. Really important with leash control to try to get her around the car or around whatever to get back on the sidewalk. Just trying to help her differentiate so she doesn't run out and then there's traffic. So when I do this, I don't just pull the leash back. I tend to pull the leash up a bit against the harness, lifting up the dog a little bit. And I'm not actually lifting her, but the force is going upward. I think that also helps her make the distinction that she is not crossing the road by changing the angle at which she gets pulled. Reinforce it, and it's just a lot of leash control. I think normally, off the top of my head, I haven't done it in a while, but I would say that I usually use both hands for a round, just to make sure that everything is done right. Like I said, it's situational. You may never want to use it, but it is something that you can take into account, into consideration, and put it in your running routine with your doggo. Burp. Round. Good. Like I said, I like to have a second hand. I like to pull upward. I have a little more control. She tends to slow down a bit by having it, instead of pulling back on it, kind of pull up. And I think it also helps her distinguish that she is doing something different, makes it a little more unique. So that's what I do. I have a nice calm tone when I do any walking commands or around commands, because if you say with a lot of energy, she might think you are trying, or your dog might be he. They might think that you are going to run. So with that, I would use around for walking. We're going to try it running. I normally don't do around with running. I like to slow down the dog, approach the hazards carefully. We'll see if it works. We'll test it out. We're going to find out right now. Around, and go. You nailed it! Woo! What do you know? She did it first try. Awesome. So it can be done. I do prefer walking though in case of around, but to each his own. All right. So that's it for the commands. Okay. So just a couple things to impress upon you, and that'll be about it. So just a quick recap. So we talked about stop. We talked about go. We talked about and. We talked about left, right, back, around, gun it. If you don't like any of these words, if you want to use different ones, or the tone, the pitch, it's your dog. So you can kind of play around with that any way you want. Remember that this is, like my disclaimer is that I am just giving you guys advice, but the most important thing is that you know your dog best, and you know what your dog is capable of. Okay, so don't hold me responsible for your dog going and rolling an ankle. Okay, so just take these things into consideration, but it is not an end-all be-all kind of thing. One last thing I want to talk about is running to your dog's speed. Okay, I mentioned this in the other video. Depending on your dog's age and breed, they can be faster or slower. And sometimes the dog is faster than you, sometimes you're faster than the dog. So when you go out for your run, if you notice that your dog is starting to lag behind, they're slowing down, maybe they're overheating, maybe they're cold, maybe they're thirsty, you know, pay attention to those factors, but also keep to their speed. You know, you don't want to go and try to set a PR and just drag your dog the whole way there, okay? It's an experience for both of you, and you want to make it an enjoyable one. So, you know, just take that, put it in there. If you have a dog that's not particularly fast or particularly young, just, you know, go with them, okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, that is it from me. Yes, once again, Danny Boy. Don't forget to check out the website, rundannyboy.com. I have all my articles and all that jazz right there waiting for you, okay? And also make sure you follow me on Run Danny Boy 1. Okay, like and subscribe to this video if you have not already. That would help out the channel tremendously. And don't forget, as always, the music from Jinenji. So if you like the music from Jinenji, just go and check out the link in the description to listen to some more music from Jinenji. All right, well, that's it for me. So until next time, right here, this guy and that dog. There she is. We're gonna say to you, enjoy your run.